Well, folks, we are back at it again. This lovely Afrobeat Music Talk Radio, your number one African Caribbean online radio. We are back again doing what we do best. It's a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Wherever you may be, we are going to be having a very great conversation with a very special person, a very special guest in the person of Tuff Like Iron. Yes, Tuff Like Iron. We are going to explore why she is tough like iron. How are you? We are going to go straight in. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm giving thanks. You know, it's a beautiful day here in Jamaica. You know, good to be here with you all. Love, babe, make up.
Oh, please don't tell me. Oh, please don't tell me it's beautiful day. We are struggling here.
You don't want to hear that? Okay.
That's right. We are in the Arctic, you know.
Well, say hi to Santa Claus for me.
Yes. It's nice to have you join us today. I will be joined shortly. Petraa. Well, by the way, folks out there, Petraa, the host of the show, it's a 2020 Juno Award Nominee-Reggae. Yes, as you know, Petraa is it's one of the hardest working women in show business, as I say. And I'm with me here to have this conversation with Tuff Like Iron is Ron. Ron is a music producer, a songwriter who has collabed, or who has written so many songs around the globe, and he's trending. Ron, I'm giving you the props, Ron. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing up there in Toronto? I know here on the west coast of Canada, we don't have snow. The sun is starting to peek through, and it's a little bit windy, but you know, it's no. I'm not complaining because I tell you, it's no point, man. Nobody would listen anyways. So it's just another nice day here on the west coast. But you know, TYBM coming to see you guys sometime in September, October.
Okay, don't come with the rain, because out west, the rains there. Don't come out there. No. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yeah, sure. You always come to Toronto. Yes.
Yeah, well, it's probably the last place we're going to go. Sorry, because it's so big.
That's right. Yes, Ron, we have a very special guest. And you know what? I've listened to her music, and you know, I've read a lot about her. And actually, today I was on our Instagram page, and somebody said, "Oh my God, she's trending all over, you know, Jamaica. I've seen her on boards in Jamaica," and I'm saying, "Oh, so we have a special guest right here, a superstar, you know, right here. You know what? So, welcome to the program, Tuff Like Iron."
Well, thanks again. It's a joy and an honor, you know? Big up.
Oh, so it's a great pleasure having you here, because here we have conversation. We don't have any interview. So if you're thinking about us going to have an interview, no, we have a conversation.
Okay, all right.
That's right. We are not a gotcha kind of panel here. Nah, we're going to have a conversation. We learn from you, and you learn from you.
That sounds positive. I like that.
You better believe it. Well, Ron, Petraa is not here, so I'll throw the first question your way.
Okay, sure. Tuff Like Iron, nice to have you here today. As already mentioned by TYB, who is himself a superstar, a Juno winner. So you know, he's won he has his credits as well. So we have to give him that too. Yes, exactly. Kudos to him. Tuff Like Iron, I want to really have. I'm sure many people have asked this question. Where'd you get the name from? What came up, and why did you pick like a name like Tuff Like Iron?
It's a name that I gave myself. Just it's more like it's like a mantra, you know, to be strong. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much crazy stuff going on. So you know, to be tough like iron. I guess I never thought it would seem so controversial to people. Which you know what I mean. I don't know why they think that tough like iron should be like a big strong man like the Hulk. You know what I mean? So it seems like it's challenging to them when I say that I'm tough like iron. They're like, you tough like iron? Yes, it's me, tough like iron. I'm strong and I've been through some things in my life. But guess what? I'm still here and I don't give up. And, you know, I hope I can inspire other people to be strong through, you know, the face of obstacles and just, you know, keep doing their best. So that's really what it's all about. It's like I said, it's like a mantra, you know, positive, thought to kind of keep yourself, you know, focused going in the right direction. Because you really have to be very focused out here, I think.
You say out here. What do you mean by out here? What do you mean by
I
that?
just mean in the world, you know, just in life.
Yeah, that's fair. I know you grew up in Brooklyn and you share your time now. Apparently, according to your bio that we got, you grew up in Brooklyn and you split time between Jamaica and California. How have these places helped you to shape your sound?
Well, you know, growing up in Brooklyn was definitely a very Caribbean influenced scene. Or, you know, just when I was growing up, I always have a lot of memories of the music, you know, the dance hall, the reggae, and that stuff was very prevalent in New York. And then, you know, I grew up in a kind of a West Indian community. So between that and coming to Jamaica, I just really always loved music overall. But I love reggae music. I listened to some hip hop music as well growing up in, you know, New York. Listened to a lot of Hot 97. And other than that, you know, I wouldn't say, I don't know if California really influenced my sound that much, but it definitely influenced my life and just, you know, my journey. So big up to California always, but it's mostly to Jamaica and New York for the sound, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it's a more of a edgy sound, whereas the West Coast has like that kind of surfer, you know, kind of laid back sound. And that, you know, that can be cool at times, but that's not necessarily my personal style, you know? So
Fair enough.
yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
And I know that reggae is in your heart, and you blend a lot of genres into them. And how do you approach this when it comes to intermingling different genres together?
It's just a natural thing. That's also due to the whole experience of greetings. Due to the whole, you know, cultural experience of growing up between New York and Jamaica, it just kind of is a natural thing, you know. The different genres kind of come together. It's a melting pot. So I'm a melting pot of sounds, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Petraa, it's nice to see you here. This is the other lovely lady. This is Petraa. Oh, yes.
Hi.
Yeah. She's the lady who has been nominated for a Juno for reggae. So you two will have lots to talk about too as well.
Congratulations, Queen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the best with that.
Thank you. Wish you the best as well. Looking forward to talking with you, you know?
Yes,
yeah, go ahead, Petraa, if you wish.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a pleasure to connect with you. I'm not sure what has already been asked, you know, but
well, I can tell you.
Go on, Ron. Give me a little rundown.
Yeah, well, one is I just talked about her name, where she got the name from.
Beautiful.
I haven't asked about coffee or tea yet. And however, I did also ask about the mixing of genres together, like reggae with other styles. So anyways, that's about it, Petraa.
Okay, awesome. Well, a great place for me to jump in. So it's definitely a pleasure, Empress, to connect with you and to interview you today and to hear more about your journey.
Blessings. Thank you so much. Likewise.
Give thanks. So I wanted to ask you, can you take us back to when you actually fell in love with music, essentially reggae music?
Yeah, I would say that's like since I was a child. So, I grew up listening to a lot of Bob Marley. And my father actually plays drums. So he and my mother were both into reggae music. Since so that was in my house. And I was the only child. I would spend a lot of time just listening to music. So
Mm-hmm.
that music that was around me, Black Uhuru, and Israel Vibration, and a lot of Bob Marley. And there was a lot of I listened to a lot of mixtapes growing up. Um, in New York, there was so many mixtapes, and then obviously the mix CDs. The mixtapes were put onto CDs, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of different DJs, and they would sell the mixtapes, outside on near going to the train, and the
Yeah.
people would be out there with us. So I would always buy them, and so I would like know all the latest songs, and you know, it was like although we weren't in Jamaica, we were like an outlet of Jamaica. So the stuff that was going on and in the music scene would get to us very quickly. And then I think there's definitely some things that are regional, like regionally a hit in New York. Like for example, the I Wayne song, Can't Satisfy Her,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a massive song in New York that used to play nonstop on the radio, and not just like the reggae radio, because we have our reggae pirate radio stations in New York, but then they also used to play that on like the mainstream radio station. So I just thought that was like a big international well-known song, but actually when I went,
Mm-hmm.
I found that that song didn't really play there. So it can kind of be, depending on what region you're in,
Yeah.
what is popular there as well.
Yeah. No,
Absolutely.
yeah, no, most definitely. Because I'm from England too, right? So I think it's kind of the same thing, like in the area that I grew up with mostly like reggae influence, Jamaican influence. But if you go to another part of the city where I come from, like you're not gonna hear that,
Right,
And
right.
yeah, and
Yeah,
growing up,
I've never been to England, but I feel like it must be similar. Like New York and England must be kind of similar like that. Like there's a lot of Jamaican culture and vibes if you're in that scene, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I can say here on the West Coast, reggae it's there. I mean, ours is more the pop rock sort of stuff.
Yeah.
mm,
So West Coast is completely different in many ways
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that.
Definitely. And what about in Canada? I went to Toronto one time for a show, but I really haven't spent much time there. But it seemed, I remember when I was there, they took us to a Jamaican restaurant and I got like some fried breadfruit. And I was like, wow, this is,
yeah. They have it. It's literally like Jamaica here, like for sure. We even have an area called Little Jamaica.
that's great. I definitely got to visit there one day.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta come back and perform.
Definitely, I'm ready.
Yeah.
It was kind of, things were a little bit strange due to COVID for a while, but it seemed like things are more normal, getting more active again. So
Yeah,
hope to see you
exactly.
all soon over there.
Most definitely. I kind of want to ask you another question before I pass you on, pass like over to TYB. But I wanted to ask you, like, in relation to talking about reggae, and I can only really talk about it from my perspective too, because I'm a reggae artist and my connection. So my connection to reggae music is like it's more than music, Like I feel like for me, it was a calling. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of other reggae artists, they kind of, and this is, I'm not saying other artists don't have that, but I feel specifically in reggae, we speak about a calling to do this sound, to do this music. Can you speak on that in any
Well,
way?
yeah, I mean, because reggae music it's a revolutionary music. You know what I mean? There's not, if you think about it, they don't really have many types of music like that are about, resistance to the system and, uplifting each other and stuff like that. Especially nowadays, most things are like about some really negative stuff.
Mhm,
So I think it's a mission, reggae
mhm.
music is a mission that kind of intertwines very well with my life and my ideals and what I stand for and what I believe in. So it's just like a natural. So I have like a whole reggae life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just reggae music. You know what I mean? I have reggae
Mm.
food. I have reggae clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. So that's just the vibe. It's reggae life.
Most definitely. And then just one little thing. So how do you try and transmute that or send that across for your audience to receive that, especially if someone's never really is not used to, not familiar with reggae culture and reggae music? Like, how do you transcend that through your music?
Well, I just try to take them on a journey, I think that kind of blending the genres maybe like helps a little bit to help people maybe identify with it a little bit more because they hear something that maybe reminds them of something that they're familiar with as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's all about building bridges, musical bridges, and just to accomplish the mission, like the reggae mission. As I said, it's about positivity and doing good and uplifting each other and stuff like that. So that's what we have to build the bridge to get to the goodness.
Yeah, reggae is the bridge, you know? Yeah, for sure. TYB?
Great conversation. Um, how do you merge the name Tough Like Iron into this journey? This is just to say, have you met any challenges during this journey?
Definitely. I mean, everything is life can be very challenging. Things can be full of challenge, which personal challenges in life, and also professional challenges in what you're doing and trying to maybe get your name out there or get yourself to a certain place, like to win a Juno or maybe get nominated or something like that. You know what I mean? You have to push, so
Yes.
it's gotta be a momentum, and you have to try to keep it up, and you know what I mean. So even just that can be a challenge. Sometimes you might not feel that good this day or this week or whatever, and just trying to find the strength to keep going. You know what I mean. So you really have to be tough in all aspects, physically. You got to try to stay fit and be healthy, and make sure you take good care of yourself, take good care of those around you. You know what I mean? It's a whole lifestyle as well.
I asked that question because you know what I think it's right now. Um, Music is now changing where we have a lot of women being given, the space to operate because it's been a challenge for women in the music industry. Every facet of the music industry, in reggae, in R&B, what have you. How do you see? Has it changed from your perspective? Has it changed in terms of women, in this industry?
Well, there's definitely more women now, so that's good. You know what I mean? I love to see that. I love to see more female artists and also selectors. I would love to see also some more female producers, and I think that just the more that we have, then it will create even more than that, because one of the challenges is that working in an industry where there's like so many men, it's just very like macho and kind of, it's just not really set up for women to kind of be easily, you know what I mean, accepted into it. So the more women we have, I think is good, and more women is great. Who can
That's
be
right.
against more women? So
Oh yeah. You made mention of producers, also engineers. Maybe there are so many engineers out there that we don't know about. Um, there are a lot of great DJs too, female DJs there that we don't know about. And I think, to even put it into perspective, I think looking at it from where I sit, I think there has been a couple of steps forward, but I think there's more to be done when it comes to female participation in this industry, which every Saturday when we come here, I always say that our industry is like a jungle. You just have to be looking around, because if you don't look around properly, you'll be eaten alive, like in the jungle. So looking at it from where I sit, do you think there's a role for women DJs out there? And more so, in your bio, you say you're an MC.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think there's.
MC.
Wait a sec.
You MC.
Oh,
What
yeah.
does it?
I have a female selector. Her name is Callie Madden. She lives in LA. And so we do events in LA and sometimes in Jamaica, stuff in Jamaica as well. We've also DJed like in Las Vegas. But yeah, would love to get more female DJs. And I think there is a good amount of female DJs, just like maybe book them. You know what I mean? Like maybe just give women a chance and just hire them for your DJ or your next event performance. Just like hire more women. Like it's not that hard. You know what I mean? They're there, they're skilled, So big ups to all the queens doing their thing, you know what I mean, with style and grace. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nice up the place. That is it.
Yes. On this conversation, before I pass it on to Ron, we have two great, amazing DJs. Have their mixes here. DJ Aisha, she's in Kenya, and then DJ Sanchez, she's in Botswana. They do great reggae stuff. And then we have some up and coming, some great musicians out there, and then DJs. So I'm just trying to see a lot of women coming forward, and then we promoting them and stuff like that. So that's why we are here. We are going to be having a very good conversation to cover everything, because this is exactly what I said. Over here on this program, we have a conversation. We'll learn from you. You learn also from us. So
I did learn something. So I would love to try to connect with those DJs so you can send me their information after.
There you go. There you have it. I will do that. Yeah, DJ Aisha, if you're listening. Yeah, DJ Aisha, she's in Kenya. An amazing DJ. And DJ Sanchez in Botswana. Ron.
Hey, coffee or tea? What do you prefer? Tea. Okay. That's just a real quick question. Really means a lot.
That's an easy one for me. I rarely drink coffee.
No rights, no wrongs to that. I know MC means master of ceremonies here. It means the person in charge of the event. Is that what it means when you say MC?
Yeah, well, when you say MC, yeah, I do MC. But when we say MC, it means like on the sound, one person is the selector who's playing the tunes and actually operating. The other person is the person with the microphone speaking to the crowd, introducing the songs, bigging up the people in the dance and telling them to, support the bar and and, giving them a little vibe. So that's the MC that I'm describing, is on the sound, the one who speaks on the microphone. That's me.
Right, which would be about the same here. This means the same thing. Okay,
yeah.
All right. I'm a songwriter. I do a lot of songwriting. I'm just curious to know, for your writing process, when you go into it, I know that I sit at a piano, or I'll sit at a guitar, or I'll sit somewhere and I'll start writing the song myself. Some people say, as we've had many artists say, they get a beat from somewhere and they pick it up and they go, that's the song. How do you go about writing a song?
I'm with the Get the Beat crew. I'm in the Get the Beat crew.
Yeah.
We get the beat, and then I usually I like to put it on to just do a demo and put it in Pro Tools or whatever and just try. I kind of at this point start writing the song and recording it at the same time, and then sometimes go back and redo the whole thing after, like re-record it after, but I kind of like write it in the demo session and then just re-record it.
Okay. I have a thought about music, that after getting a recording from somebody on the weekend, I was shaking my head because I thought to myself, I have to think of something. And I was listening to a lot of music, and the line I came up with, good music is predictable with surprises, and bad music is unpredictable with no surprises. What's your feeling on good music? What does that have to have in it?
Well, I think it has to have a feeling, really. Yeah, that's very hard. That's a that's a very hard thing to try to quantify because, you know, there's so many different kinds of songs that I like for different reasons. So I can't even say like one, you know, thing or another. But I think that a good chorus is really important because it kind of can be the thing that people know. From my experience, I always know the words to songs a lot for some reason. Like they just stick in my head and I just remember them. But I noticed that a lot of people don't know the words to the songs, but they know that they know the song and they know they like it. You know what I mean? But if you can kind of have something that they can remember easily and kind of be able to repeat, so like I think that makes a good song, something that's kind of anthemic, especially if you know something that people can identify with, that they can really, you know, feel like it's about the feeling.
Yeah, it's that melody line, I think, often.
Yeah, melody is extremely important to creating that feeling.
Yeah,
but
which is
so much that goes into it. It's hard to kind of like pinpoint exactly.
I wanted to sum things up for a person so I could express how I felt that, or what I could say about their music when I try to give them an evaluation on it. Anyways, I wanted your side of this. Hey, Petraa, go ahead.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, sis. I wanted to ask you, when it comes to your music, kind of piggybacking off what Ron was saying, I wanted to ask you, what do you hope or feel or want people to take away from listening to your music?
Just a positive vibes. Like I just want to give people a good vibe and hopefully, you know, just like I said, the object of my music is to really first inspire myself and motivate myself. So hopefully it can also do that for others as well.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And then I wanted to ask you, how do you see your legacy in the music industry? Like, what do you want your legacy to be, especially as a woman and especially as a reggae artist?
Well, definitely, as a reggae artist, my legacy is connected to the, you know, mission of just like doing Rastafari works. So, you know, even about 2 weeks ago, we did a community event. I have a community group that I work with that's based in Oakland, California, called Community Reggae Corps, and it's based close to the concept of the Black Panthers. So it's all about trying to uplift the community, and we go out and do just nice things sometimes. We do food giveaways where we'll like cook food or get catered food from a restaurant and just have a little community event where we play music and give out food and maybe raffle stuff and different things for the children and stuff like that. So I think that, you know, taking care of people and just sometimes people just need a little break or a little, you know, light in their life. So the more I could do with my music, I would just love to not like buy a lot of, you know, Hummers or anything. I just want to, you know, send some children to school and, you know what I mean? Start a nice community farm where people could get some nice food. And just, you know what I mean? Things that are good for people in the community. That's my hype. That's how I hype up myself. Not with Hennessy, with, you know what I mean? The community. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the mission. And I hope that musically, I hope that I could also be able to establish my own professional recording studio one day where I would definitely try to make sure that, you know, female artists could come and be able to record in the environment and not be like harassed by people. Because when you go to do work as a female, a lot of times people think it's like time to start the shenanigans right now. You know what I mean? And I don't know what that is. I don't understand it. It's like, what is it about women that makes people feel like, let me start messing with this person? You know what I mean? So, so I would just love to create an environment where we could have, you know, hopefully like some free sessions where we could like let some female artists come and record for free, and the youth. You know what I mean? I'm all about the women and the youth. I'm all about the kings too. Don't get me wrong. We're here for the kings too.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Prioritizing, you know, being able to try to do some stuff with some female artists and give them like a good space where they could create without any kind of infringement or harassment or anything.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, you know, because I'm also a woman in the industry. So, and we're in a very male dominated industry. I think there are a lot of female artists out there, but I think people do forget that a majority of the industry is still very much male dominated. So, as a woman entering into that space, you have to navigate many different challenges, you know, especially some of the challenges that you faced, you know, walking into a recording studio. Most likely there's going to be more men than women, you know, so automatically as a woman, you have to know how to conduct yourself and keep your eyes, your ears, and just your mind open, you know. And it's
But it's like
unfortunate.
that's even just imagine just walking into some place and not having to do all of that stuff. And what would
That's
your
what I was gonna
creation
say,
look
yeah.
like? You know, what would it sound like? How would that feel? Freedom.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I don't know, I'd love to get like, you know, other guys takes on this, but as a woman, like they don't really see our challenges. And I feel like if more men in the musical space could understand the challenges that women go through, and then just to educate others and just to also be able to provide safe spaces and not having all that be put on women to have to provide that for women. I feel like men and women can work together in partnership to provide that space for women, because men
It's
and women
beautiful.
have worked together to provide resources and spaces for men. So
I
why
love
not the
that
same thing?
meds. I love that meds.
Yeah, for sure. So I think you're doing the right thing, and I think it's more about education. I think education is the key to all things. Once you plant that seed, it can then sprout to grow into something so much more, you know? Yeah, for sure. And then I want to ask you one last question before I pass you on to TYB. I want to ask you, like, what important message do you want to leave to the next generation? Like, what is Tuff Like Iron's message to the youth?
My message to everybody is always the same, and that's just do good. That's all the messages. Now the next message, just Rastafari message, and it'll be very easy if we all just do good.
Yeah, I love that one. You got to put on your merch and your shirt. Tuff Like Iron, do good.
I like that. I'm getting a lot of good stuff out of this session today.
I see, love me. You got to come back, man. This is your station. It's your show, you know? Yeah, TRB?
Yes, I'm enjoying this conversation. What can you tell us your first project that you did musically? The very first one.
My first song that I recorded?
That's right.
The very first song I recorded was called I'm Talking to You. And we recorded it at HWY Over Evil. So that they invited me to come and try to record my song. I went to there just hanging out with some friends, and I heard the instrumental, and I had a little idea, and I came up with something, and they said you should write a song and come back and voice it. And I was like, I've always wanted to do this, so I'm gonna do my best. And that was the song. I think it came out pretty great. You know what I mean? If I listen to it today, I don't have to like cringe and hide from it.
Oh wow!
It sounds pretty good. You know.
So I did that for your first song. I'm like,
I'll play my first song for y'all right now. It sounds great.
I love that.
And my follow-up question would be, why did you write that song? The lyrics.
The lyrics were. It's just like the same things I've been talking about. It's about Rastafari mission and just doing good stuff. So the lyrics say, "What you gonna do? I'm talking to you. We're rising the youths and we're chanting the truth. The things we try to build, they come to break it down. Don't know where they get that meditation from. Our children are numbered like the grains of sand. Heights up in the power of the living one." So it was, you know what I mean? Just some Rastafari vibes and positive vibes about the youths and stuff. And it's still the same thing.
We are sitting on the front row and listening to you, you know, right? Front row. Yes. And how did how was it received? And when you heard it for the first time on the radio or where, how did you feel?
I felt amazed, like I was so overjoyed, you know, and I even now I'm very overjoyed even to be having this conversation with you all, even to be able to share my creativity, and even one person listened to it and it touched them in a kind of a way that, you know what I mean, that really means a lot to me, because nobody has to listen to Tuff Like Iron or interview Tuff Like Iron or talk to Tuff Like Iron and stuff. Like, there's millions of people in the world, so, you know what I mean, there's millions of artists and people, so it's a joy just to be able to share my creativity and have people, you know, give me a vibe forward. I'm still overjoyed even up to this time, you know what I mean? So it was a powerful experience. I think that when the song came out, people who knew me personally were kind of like, what are you doing? You think you're a singer? You because I also have a clothing line, and I make crochet hats and, you know, t-shirts and stuff like that. So they know me more for making the clothing, and they're like, you make the hats, why are you trying to sing? Like, they, you know, they weren't necessarily so supportive, but as they say, you know, a lot of times your biggest support come from strangers. So don't be, you know, afraid to put yourself out there, because even if the people around you don't support you, you know, your tribe can be out there. Like, there's people out there who want to, you know, hear about your experience or hear about your story, or, you know what I mean, experience your art. So I just want to encourage all the creative people to just, you know, keep creating stuff, and just, even if you don't have it all figured out, just get it out there and share it with the world, because you never know where it could lead, you know?
Yeah. And are you still in that business?
Yeah. I still make the crochet hats, and I still have a clothing line, Tuff Like Iron clothing. So, you know, it's available for shipping worldwide, and you can check out the gear on my website as well.
You see, I'm proud of you for saying what you're doing, because we've been discussing topics like this. Like, Petraa has a marketing company, but there are a lot of new artists out there who, when they break out or they break in, and they get the hype, that's it. They don't think about the fact that someday they may not be able to perform the way that they have fallen. And what are they going to be falling back on?
Well, you know, I think I was blessed in that way, because I had the clothing line first before I started doing music. So I always kind of thought about, you know, business, and, you know, still wanted to sell merchandise. And I know that, you know, it's important to be diverse and have different stuff going on, because you just never know what could happen.
Awesome. I'm proud of you. Keep
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just going to ask about a question like that. You also include vegan food into your live shows and stuff. Why vegan food? What was that all about?
Well, you know, as a Rastafari youth, we never used to really eat meat. A lot of Rastafari people eat fish, but I personally stopped eating fish like almost 20 years now. So I haven't been having any animal products, and I just try to eat a lot of natural food. Right now, I'm so happy that I have like a lot of pak chow in my garden outside, and callaloo, and I have some stuff growing outside that I can eat. And my food just comes from the ground. I don't have to like run it down with anything. I stab it. There's no blood or guts involved. No, there's no pain or suffering. I think maybe the vegetables maybe suffer a little bit that we can't hear because they can't talk or anything. But
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, I also think the vegetables are different because you can like pick off a leaf and then it can grow back. But if you like cut off the cow foot, it can't like grow back another foot.
You know?
So I think I think also that, you know, eating a lot of vegetables is better for the planet. And so like I encourage people to eat more vegetables, because the commercial production of animals for food consumption creates a whole lot of pollution and toxic waste that's like really bad for the environment. So even if you do eat meat, eat more vegetables and save the planet.
Amen.
Yeah. This has something to do with your brother too, I believe. Is that correct?
Oh no, you know that's my son.
Oh, your son.
My
Sorry.
son thinks it's my brother, but yeah, we look like twins, but that's my son. So big up to Aya Vegan Kitchen. I'm actually gonna link up with him after this interview, and we're gonna go have some vegan food because that's what we do. You know what I mean? That's my son. He's in high school, and he has always loved food since he was a little baby, and so he started cooking. And actually, we started first doing like food reviews of restaurants.
Oh,
And
cool.
his Instagram page kind of took off. He has like over 200,000 followers, and he's very well known for his cooking. So we're working on his second cookbook soon. So you can look for the first one. It's on Amazon. It's called Aya Vegan Cookbook. And just stay tuned. We're also working on some more YouTube content for him. So we started a new series called Cook Like a Rasta. You know?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And
I gotta subscribe to you guys.
that we have the first episode out now, but stay tuned for more and more stuff from Aya Vegan Kitchen. Like I said, it's a holistic, lifestyle movement. Our thing, you gotta hear it, wear it, you can even consume it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole lifestyle vibe. We got the whole package.
Yeah, I can see you light up when you say this. So
because I'm just so proud. I'm so proud. Like I was saying about the music, it's a joy to put the music out there and people respond to it. It's a joy to see my son put his passion for cooking out there into the world and see how much people people follow him like DJ Khaled and SZA and people like that. Like he's, like famous, you know what I mean, for food. Hoping to do more with that and just be able to, make a lot of positive impact in the world with my work and with my family. I also have a younger son as well who's very creative and he loves animals. And he's an animal expert. He knows all kinds of different stuff about animals. And he also is very creative and writes like science fiction kind of stories, and also does like stop motion animation with claymation and different stuff like that. So just stay tuned for more creativity from the Tuff Youth them as well. Because, when you talk about the legacy, it's a living legacy with the youth them. Yeah. And it just makes me so happy to see them sharing their creativity and see how people respond to it. So it's a joy.
Yeah, I see your face light up. Yeah. You've performed at a lot of iconic venues and festivals. Do any moments on stage in particular stand out as being particularly powerful or unforgettable?
I really had a great time last year at Reggae on the River. So that was an event that I always had heard about for many years and got the opportunity to perform last summer. So that was definitely, an iconic one for me. I loved the stage. It was so cool. It had this like big, this roof thing that was kind of like wavy, this like big. So it was very cool. And the river was right behind me when I was performing. And, all the redwood trees and just the sound system was so good. And the team that I had on stage with me was so great and supportive. I had, it was actually like a sound system performance, but then I had a live horn section. So big ups to the hornsman them from Reggae on the River. Love them. And then I had some dancers who came and gave me some vibes throughout the set. So big up to my friends, the Frisco Rockers out of San Francisco as well. So it was and I had two female dancers. I also brought my friend who is a singer, and I had her open for me because we got to create opportunities for the queens, like I said. So I got an opportunity to bring my queen friend, stand up there and sing her song for the people. And you know what I mean? Build up her, because she just really hasn't done that many performances. So I was like, come on, you're going to Reggae on the River. And so I had her opening, and I had the two female dancers, and I had the kings there supporting me. My good friend DJ Petraa was there, and he did the sound, and he was giving me some introductions and stuff. He was doing emceeing and the sound. It was just great. It was pure greatness. So thanks again to the whole Tuff crew who made that Reggae on the River moment so special.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Petra. Go ahead, Petra.
Yeah, no, thanks. I heard you, Ron. Thank you. No, that sounds like a really beautiful experience, you know? So, yeah, definitely embrace more of those experiences. And I love the fact that you invited your sis for her to also experience a little piece of what, you
Yeah.
know, that you're doing. Because that small time that you gave her must have been so empowering for her, you know? And it's those little things that we support others. That little support could take them so much further, you know?
Yeah, that's what we all need is support. So I'm
Mhm.
always gonna, support the people as much as I can because I need the people to support me. You know what I
You
mean?
know? So support them so they can support you
Mhm.
and vice versa.
Makes sense, Makes
You know? Exactly. For sure. So I wanted to ask you, how like what messages are you most passionate about sharing through your music? Because I know you mentioned some of those messages right now. What other messages are important to you to share to your audience through your music, clothing, and even through the food? You know, like what messages?
just positive messages. It's just all about, you know what I mean? Bringing a good vibe and just bringing good energy and not like I said, there's so many negative messages and so much. If you watch entertainment, if you watch movies, it's like there's so much violence. And even in the music, there's so much violence and degradation and just just negative vibes. So, what about positive vibes? I've got an idea. What about some positive vibes?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Well, there needs to be some form of positivity to combat the negativity. So,
Mhm.
and
Exactly. So
not,
that's what the mission is. But I mean, I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think I don't know if it's like some you know cloak and dagger kind of big evil force of company somewhere that's like, no, we won't promote any positive vibes. We are only going to promote negative vibes just to mash up people's mind and just make them mash up themselves. I don't know if that's true or not, but
hmm
there's just not much promotion of anything good. You know what I mean? I think people kind of respond to negative stuff too. So I think it's kind of
So
natural.
does yeah. So does
You
the
know?
media. The media, if it's negative, they love it.
Right, because people are attracted to it. So they want to
Yeah.
do things that
exactly.
are going to get them
Mhm.
ratings, are going to get them viewed. So they want to put the most shocking things so that the people have to watch it because it's just so
Yes.
shocking. You know what I mean? But
Exactly.
so we have to find a way to be shockingly positive, just so positive that it's just shocking to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or even we need to, as a culture, like the world needs to reprogram itself. You know, because I think even with all this negativity in the media, I think society is becoming a lot more desensitized to violence and negativity, which is why they're increasing it and increasing it and increasing it. You know,
Yeah.
so you don't want it to
It's
get
a cycle.
what it is. Yeah. So we need positive music, positive clothing with messages, positive something positive to counteract that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted you to, that same question. I wanted to ask you if you can explore that question from the aspect of being a mother and also as a woman
Mhm.
in relation to like the message that comes through your music and through like the things that you're doing. Like, what messages are passionate about you sharing through those things? Because, like Ron mentioned, when you speak about your kids, it was just your face lit up, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well,
So
I tell my kids the same thing. I'm like, look, just do something good, okay? I don't care what you want to do. Do what speaks to you. You know what I mean? Do what makes you happy. But you know what I mean? Just try to do something that makes you happy and it's not like harmful to anybody else and even is good for you and other people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's just my general approach to things. Try to do good. Like I said,
Mhm.
that's the message. Do your best. Put yourself out there. You know what I mean? Create and share. Whatever your talents are, you got to really know yourself. Knowing yourself is important. You got to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you know what I mean. Try to build on your weaknesses and try to embrace your strengths.
mm-hmm, for sure. And I want to tie that onto the next question I want to ask you, which is, what does it mean to you to represent strength and divine feminine energy through your music and through your brands?
I mean, it's a joy for me I feel like seems to be very challenging to society or something like that, because I don't know why. Like I said, when I say I'm tough like iron, the people are like,
Yeah.
you like that I couldn't be strong, or they for some reason start. It's like they're ready to fight me, or they want to fight me right now. I'm ready to fight them too,
Because you're
So
tough like iron. So
you understand what I'm saying? So now I have to constantly defend this for some reason to people, because they don't associate women with being strong for some reason, and I don't know why. Because women are very strong. Because if you can see a person, they came here through a woman's body, and that is no small task, And so I think that overall, there's just not enough reverence for that. You know what I mean? I just feel like people just don't respect women enough, and even women don't respect themselves and each other enough, because the whole, idea of being the guardian of like this sacred journey into the world should be revered. Like people should, be respected. You shouldn't be paid less. You should be paid more. You know what I'm saying? Because you can bring a life into this world and do a PowerPoint presentation. You know what I'm saying? This is an asset.
I
You
love
know what I'm saying? Why are we being treated like we are less than somebody, when I'm sorry to say it, but if anything, a woman is more, because you can do the man things them and also recreate people. You know what I'm saying? There's, to me, I'm not really like a big gender roles kind of person. You know what I mean? Like I think that, the Most High created man and woman to work on stuff together, and like that we're equal partners to like work on things and be there to, maybe you can lift more things than me physically. Maybe I can lift more things mentally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's all about partnership, but I think that we go astray by it's like a competition. That's where it's not good. It's apples and oranges. You know what I mean? We are not. We're one, but we're not the same. So why is it like always such a like downtrodden of the women? I don't understand. I would like to say that today I saw a post that said that Zambia in Africa was offering women a 1 day a month where they get off for their menstrual cycle. Like they don't explain it. They just are taking their day this month. Why don't they have stuff like that? You know what I mean? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like that should be like a normal thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, because just like the music industry not made for us, the world not made for us, and we're just like trying to jam ourselves as like a triangle, and you're trying to jam yourself into this square peg, and you don't really fit exactly, but you just kind of have to try to smile and make the best of it.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would like to see more things for the queens. I don't know why the people have to act like you're so weird or something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, okay, queens?
Exactly. Talent queen. Awesome. Thank you. TRB?
Yeah, my question would be, how do you want to see yourself? How do you see yourself? I'm not going to 10 years, 5 years from now.
Okay, well, I see, I would like to do more, like, I would like to have my own festival, I would like to have my own something that was like a Reggae on the River one day, I know it would have to start from somewhere, so maybe it would have to start small and build, but I would like to have, a yearly event. Also incorporating, my son's brand, continuing to grow the Aya Vegan Kitchen. We did an event called Aya Bash. So, maybe that could be the event, or my festival, or both. You know what I mean? So I think just continuing to grow the brands and see them, blossom into something that can be a bigger platform, and, be able to just help to continue the lifestyle and the mission of Tuff Like Iron, the movement and the positivity and the good that we want to do, just finding better ways and bigger ways, with some events, I think would be a great thing to be able to establish in the next few years.
And combining the success that you've gained so far and your son's successes and stuff like that. Looking at it from where I sit, how do you, let me see, how do you measure success?
Well, I think that you have to count your blessings and not worry too much about stuff that you don't have or want to get and different stuff like that. There's always something to get. You know what I mean? You know, get some more stuff or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, I think success is if you can be happy with yourself and what you're doing, and you know what I mean? So happiness, I think, is success, which I think is different than necessarily money, because money doesn't necessarily bring you happiness. Sometimes that bring you more problem, you know? So it's good to have things, but it's also important to be happy, you know?
Yeah. And your musical journey, I think so far so good. You're happy with yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
That is the most important. Nobody can take it away from you. And looking at it from so many different angles, how do you see the future of reggae music or dancehall music?
Well, I don't really know what the future is, but I do see, you know, that more. I mean, I feel like more and more people are getting into it. I think that the like the Bob Marley movie definitely got a lot of support around the world, and so I think that's like inspiring a new generation of people to get into reggae music, and just judging from the viewership of that movie alone, people are interested. You know what I mean? There's a lot of interest, you know, and so I think it's definitely going places, and I would like to see more collaboration with Africa, especially. You know, I think there needs to be more connection between Jamaica and Africa, and not just like for a show or a performance, but like, you know, cultural connections. You know what I mean? I would love to see more of that in the reggae music, because it's, you know, it's based on Africa and we love Africa, but then we're like not really all that connected all that much. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there's more work to be done out there.
a lot of work.
And I rest my case right now, but you know what? It's been a pleasure speaking and having this conversation with you. And I'll pass it on to Ron or Petra to close it up.
Yeah, I just have one question. I just want a little clarity here, if you don't mind, and that is in regard, you know, if you look at the Grammys this year or last year or a few years, if you notice for album record of the year, it's mostly women getting nominated. So when you say that you would like to see more women on board, does that mean taking every Grammy Award winner and every nominee? I'm just not quite sure.
Well, I guess I'm speaking more in reggae music than just music overall, because I think reggae music particularly also has a lot of men, and you know, it's based in Jamaican. Man can be very like harsh and very kind of like, you know what I mean? Them very have their own ways and them very like this. So you know what I mean? It's kind of rigid.
African's the same. African music's exactly the same.
Right. So
male dominant.
In those,
but reggae culture's a bit like I know what she's saying, because in that culture it's very dominant to the point where like sometimes you don't really have a voice, you know, and it's like you have to deal with a lot of other challenges within that.
Well, I mean, like even in Rastafari, you know, my elder tell me that they didn't even used to let the women talk or say anything. You're just supposed to stand there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so that to me doesn't make any sense, because it goes against the whole mission of Rastafari, which that's why His Imperial Majesty as Selassie I crowned Empress Menen at the same time. I said, break the tradition and say yes, let's you know, focus on being, you know, working together, and you know what I mean? Not this kind of like, oh, the king is very important and the queen, she's like down the street, around the corner somewhere. We don't really know what's up with her. You know what I mean? So I think that's the whole mission. So when I say that, I guess maybe in other musics it's not really that the same, but in our community it's kind of still very macho and kind of not that friendly for us.
Okay, that makes sense. Petraa?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just want to say it's been a pleasure just to kind of connect with you, you know, and to have you on the show today, and just to kind of know more about your story, more about your journey, and just to hear about all the wonderful talents in your entire family, you and your beautiful son. You know, there's one thing
Look
you
at the
mentioned.
face. She's lighting up again.
I love it because I'm the same with my son. Like you said, something that your younger son does that my son also does. He's also into clay modeling and claymation.
Yeah.
So he also makes he makes the movies as well. So it's just beautiful to see mini creators. Like we created mini creators, you know. So
That's amazing, right?
yeah, you get to see the legacy.
It's a blessing. You understand?
birth.
I'm successful. You understand?
Yes, exactly.
If I have $10 million or not $10 million, that maybe that would make more financial success, I guess. But you know what I mean? I'm successful, so I'm grateful and I'm very blessed and glad to share, my creativity and my journey with you all and the world.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and you get to see your creations, your success every day. You know. They get to talk to you, smile at you, hug you, so that's a blessing as well. So yeah, so it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. TYB, do you want me to close out? You want to close out? What you want to
yeah. Let's close out.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's been a fantastic show. I wish you could keep you Tuff Like Iron, but yeah, be collected. But it's been a pleasure. And yeah, do you also want to share with our listeners where they can connect with you, your website, your social media, all that great stuff?
My website is tufflikeiron.org, and I'm just Tuff Like Iron on all the platforms. So if you just look TuffLikeIron, I'm on all the streaming platforms and all the social media and stuff. So hope to connect with you all on there and add me to your playlist.
Already are. Okay, awesome. So everybody, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, all of our listeners all over the world that tune in every single Saturday. Next week we'll be back with another wonderful guest. It's been a pleasure to host Tuff Like Iron. Again, want to shout out my co-host Ron, TYB. Shout out Jana, producer, all of our lovely hosts on the station, and sending everybody lots of love on this wonderful Saturday. Bye, Love Day family.
Bye.
See you later. See you next week.